My name is Jesse, also known as J. Allen Paul. Some of you know me as that. And I'm a photographer. I know what you're saying. Everybody's a photographer nowadays, and it's true. You can't open up Instagram or Facebook without seeing 20 new photographers that are out there. But like Jeff was saying, I do more commercial work, billboards, advertising, marketing. I work with a lot of companies to kind of help create their image. I do a lot of editorial work. I also shoot a lot of landscapes, architecture, a lot of artwork for buildings, just kind of a little bit of everything. I kind of shoot a little bit of everything. I've been doing it for quite a while. But before I get into any of the photography stuff, because you guys all know me as a photographer, I'm going to kind of go back, kind of give you a little history lesson of kind of where I came from. For those of you that don't know, I came from royalty. These are my parents. I came from a very creative family. My mother was pretty much everything. She was a chef. She had 2 restaurants, catering company. She ran a big room service and catering for a big resort. She was also arts and crafts and a painter, full-on artist. What you see in the stores nowadays with all the repurposing, like she did that when I was a kid and 5 years old. Like those things there are bricks that she painted to make look like brownstone homes that she put in people's homes all over Southern California. And that's in the 80s. She was doing that for a while. Dad, on the other hand, Dad was a little different. This was my dad. That's my dad. Not that. Okay. So how many of you guys heard that song? Yeah, the older people have, the younger people, your parents have. But he was a lead singer and drummer for a group called Rare Earth in the 70s. He was the first white group on Motown Records. He had basically made it to the top. You hear his music in pretty much everything. If you'll kick the volume back up here in a second, you may have heard this song. Heard that one? I just want to celebrate. I just want to celebrate. So that's actually him in the 70s playing in front of 350,000 people in what was called California Jam. It was kind of the Woodstock of the West Coast. So this is kind of where I came from and what I kind of grew up with. So actually, he's still going too, by the way. This is him. Give me a little more volume here. This is him about 2 months ago, 74 years old. Still, and if you guys know Kanye West, Life of Pablo, last song on the album is called Fade. That's his voice throughout the whole song. We actually have a lawsuit against Kanye right now, but that's a whole other story. So, I know, right? It seems like a natural thing to get into the arts and get into a creative world. I'm the oldest of 3. My younger brother is a computer technician and web designer for a couple of medical and dental billing and consulting companies down in Atlanta. My sister's a chef. She has 50-something thousand Instagram followers and does daily posts of making food and everything. So I kind of grew up, even my siblings were on this. So seems only normal that I would get into something like photography. And, oh yeah, I must have picked up a camera at a young age and got into it early. But I'm 41 years old, and I spent 2/3 of my life chasing something completely different. Like, not even close. This is what I used to do. Sorry, there's a lot of them. I hit a lot of home runs on my I played this game for most of my life. In fact, I played professionally for 11 years. And I got up pretty high. This next one here is it's one of the last games I played towards the end of my career. This was only 7 years ago before I moved here. Before I retired, I hit home run. I was out in New Jersey, playing, keeping the dream alive. But yeah, so that was me. And if you were a baseball fan in Fargo in 2006, you may have seen this.
Edmonton this afternoon in a 4-game sweep this weekend. An incredible performance on the field today by Redhawks first baseman Jesse Hoorelbeke. Unbelievable. Hoorelbeke's first at-bat here in the second with Dad looking on there. Goes the other way and out for a 2-run bomb. And the Redhawks take a 5-1 lead. After a solo shot in the third to the fourth, again Hoorelbeke going deep. This one over the KVLY sign in center. That's his third home run of the game. We move to the sixth. Hoorelbeke at bat with 2 on, and again would tee off a three-run shot to center. His 4th home run of the game, tying a Northern League record. He would ground out in the 8th, but still a great day for him.
I just tried to see the ball as best I could, and I did. I saw it, and I put a good swing on it. The first one, I kind of, without the wind, maybe a double. But the other 3 felt pretty good off the bat. No, actually, I've hit, that's pretty good.
So that was basically what I did. I was a baseball player. I played since I was very little. From a very young age, I thought, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I love this game. I want to do this. And I put every single ounce of effort and training and work and passion into it. In fact, I have footage of the first time I ever got hit by a pitch. So ironically, that's actually my brother, who actually also played professional baseball as a pitcher, and he and I played on the Dodgers together, and he was a pitcher and I was a hitter. So it's really funny that he's, hitting me at it with a pitch. Check out the 80s shorts on the dad right here. I mean, that's straight like 1983 right there. So I played for 11 years professionally. I went up the ranks. I played through every single level. I started at T-ball in high school and Little League, or Little League, high school, college. Baseball got me into college. My family, even though my dad was a rock star, we couldn't really afford it, so I had to get a scholarship. Baseball got me there. Baseball kind of put me in touch with so many people and introduced me to new places and locations and people, and it was the most amazing thing to me. Playing that game was the greatest feeling ever, and it's what I wanted to do for my entire life. I played for the Dodgers, Cardinals, Cubs, Mariners, Angels. I played for the Red Hawks a little bit, played for a couple other independent teams in between while you're trying to keep the dream alive and go. Baseball was such a part of my life that, we did baseball in everything. So this is how my brother and I played golf.
Yeah!
So baseball was everything to me. Baseball was...
Yeah.
Oh, go back. Oh, I guess there's a slide missing. Okay, baseball was absolutely everything to me. It was what I wanted to do with my life. Baseball taught me a lot of really cool things like discipline and motivation and competitive spirit and how to be a good team player. It also taught me how to never settle and always try to get better. And it was something that I spent hours and hours and days and months playing. When you play professional baseball, you basically play for 7 months and you get 1 to maybe 2 days off a month. It is a complete full-time job and you can't do anything else. You have to bury yourself in it. You have to live it. That's why you go out drinking afterwards, because you're so into it. But baseball also taught me one of the most important things that I ever learned, and that was it's okay to fail. Failure is okay. And I know you've heard that before, but when it comes to baseball, it's really, if you know the game. How many know the game of baseball? A few people? Yeah. Okay. So if you're batting 300, it means you're doing really good. But batting 300 means you only have a 30% success rate. That means 7 out of 10 times you are completely failing. You are flying out, you're striking out, you are making an error, you're doing everything. So if you are successful 3 out of 10 times, you are considered successful. So you have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with the fact that you're going to go up there, and if you strike out, you can't go in there and go, oh, I struck out, I'm done. You have to be okay with, you're going to get another shot. So learn from your mistakes, learn from what you did, and don't make the same mistake again. We used to have a saying in baseball that you could go from hanging yourself to popping champagne in one swing of the bat. basically. And I've had it happen where I've had a game with 5 at-bats, and my first 4 I've struck out the entire time. And then I get up in the 9th inning with a chance to win the game, and I hit a home run, and I win the game for the team. So I go from hanging myself to popping champagne, one swing. And the only way you can do that is by being okay with the fact that you failed. And that lesson, for me, was a very good, I'm going to grab some water here real fast. That lesson for me was something that I took with me in the next step of my life, where I had to basically transition away from what it was that I loved into something completely different. So what happened? Well, I got old. I'm only 41 years old right now, but in baseball terms, when I was in my mid-30s, early 30s, I was an old guy. I was the old veteran. They didn't want the old guy. They want the young kid. They want the 19-year-old, the 22-year-old. So I got overlooked a lot. I also kind of broke down. I've had 2 surgeries on my knee. I've got a pinched nerve in my back. I have a pinched nerve up here. You'll see me do this. If you ever sit and have a drink with me and talk with me, you'll see me do this all the time. That's because I have things up in my neck that are just injuries from a million times of swinging a bat and doing this. Everything is, my chiropractors just, they laugh when they look at my scans because I'm just like twisted like a pretzel. But that was part of it. So, breaking down politics of the game, they wanted the younger guys. They wanted the guys that gave money. So I saw where my career was heading towards the last couple of years. And I knew that it wasn't going to last much longer, because there's just that, you hit that, you see that diminishing returns where no matter how hard you try, and it wasn't because I wasn't good enough. I was very good. In fact, in independent baseball, which is the Red Hawks and some of the other, I'm the all-time home run leader for all independent baseball of all time. I was very good at what I did. And the part that sucked is no matter how good I was, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to go with it. So for the last couple of years, I had to focus on something different. So why photography? Well, bear with me here for a minute because I'm going to jump around, and I apologize. Because to understand that, it has to go back to what I first showed with, I did grow up in a creative family. My mother was an artist, so I kind of saw the world through her eyes. I lived out on the West Coast, beautiful scenery, structures. I traveled with baseball. I saw all these new locations. Every little thing tied into how I saw the world, and I wanted to capture that. And I wanted to start remembering those memories, not just here, but actually be able to go back and see them again. So I got a little point and shoot camera, and I started taking pictures of everything, and I really started getting into it. I love this. This was this would have been 2004, 2005. Just started taking pictures as I'm traveling. And one of the years that I was playing, because when I go play, you go off to different locations and you live there for several months. And one of those places was I ended up living in an off-season in Wichita, Kansas. I've always been a nerd, okay? I've always been a computer guy. I've always been a nerd. I was kind of more into Photoshop. Again, I apologize. I'm jumping around. Just follow me along. I was more into computer and Photoshop work before I even picked up a camera. So I was good with manipulating photos and things like that because it made sense to me. Being a nerd, it just completely made sense. So one of my off seasons, I went, because like I said, you play for 7 months. You get 5 months off to do whatever you want to do. You have to train and train and train. And that's pretty much all that's required of you to be ready for the next year to play. So in the downtime, what are you going to do with your life? Well, I went and got a job working at a photography studio, helping them with their networking, helping them with some Photoshop work. And I watched this woman taking these pictures who was a great photographer, but I kept having to fix her mistakes. And I was like, I really love what she's doing, but I kind of want to fix my own mistakes. So I said, well, what's the next step? Well, let's learn how to do this. So I traded my little point and shoot for something that had some manual controls in it. Still a point and shoot, but I didn't know what I was doing. I thought, this will be fun. And I went off to go play my next year, and I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut playing. And there was a woman there who was shooting some of the game, nice old lady, and she's shooting the game and everything, and I'm looking at her, and she's got this cool Nikon camera. So I start talking with her. I'm like, oh, is that the new D300, if anybody knows photography? Is that the new D300? She goes, yeah, it's new. And so I start chatting with her a little bit. I said, I really want to get into photography, but I just can't afford it. I can't afford a DSLR to be able to do this, a professional camera or a semi-professional camera. She says, well, I have another one. Do you want to use it? Hell yeah. So she loaned me a camera, and for the next year, I basically took it with me everywhere. The guys on the team would always laugh because I'd walk out, I have my helmet, my glove, my bat, and my camera bag. Like every single place I went, every team I went, and I took thousands of pictures, and they all sucked. Like they were all bad. But I learned that because of the failure thing with baseball. I learned that, well, I'm seeing these people who are posting these pictures and doing this work that's amazing, and mine doesn't look like that, so why doesn't it? So let's reverse engineer this and go back and figure out why that doesn't look like that. In doing that for so long, this photography went from being something that was fun to something I kind of had a passion for, and I was like, oh, this is something I really love to do in my spare time. So again, as baseball started to wind down, I started realizing that this little passion thing that I had is something that maybe I could take this somewhere else. So why Fargo? That's a good question. Jumping around, but why did I end up here? Well, as you saw back in 2006 when I was playing ball here for the Red Hawks, I started meeting a couple people, and I had an opportunity to actually come back here in 2010 and 11 and play for the Red Hawks again. And when I came back here, some of those people I had met had started companies, and they had started things, and they also saw that I was dabbling in photography. And they said, hey, we've got this new little publication we're launching. Would you like to take a couple pictures for us, do a cover shot or something? I said, sure, why not? That was this little publication about this big called FM Spotlight. And they gave me an opportunity to shoot some pictures for it. And I said, so I did it. People loved it. It worked out great. I thought, wow, that was kind of cool. I could do this. So again, as baseball is winding down, I'm focusing more on doing this. In 2012, I was in New Jersey in that last game playing, and I got a call from one of the buddies. Actually, who knows Greg Tavine? Everybody? Okay, so Greg's brother, Brent, has been a friend of mine because in 2006, he was one of my clubhouse managers with the Red Hawks. So his brother, Brent, calls me and says, hey, we've got this magazine that's small that you shot for, and we want to go bigger with it. Are you going to drive through here on your way back to Washington? I was living in Washington at the time. I've lived in 14 states and 17 cities. So, yeah, if I throw a city out there, it's just because I lived there for a while between playing ball or not playing ball. So I had said, yeah, I'll swing through Fargo because I had met a girl here who is now my wife. But I met a girl here when I was playing here, and I said, well, I need to see her because that's the right thing to do. And I said, yeah, and I'll come give it a shot, and I'll shoot a couple things for you and see what happens. So as I was driving away from New Jersey, realizing I had played my last game, and I thought, all right, I'm going to, so I skipped a slide here. How did I do that? How did I get here? And this is what, I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting a little bit confused with myself here. As I was finishing up baseball, and I thought, I'm going to go to Fargo, and I'm going to give this a try. And I had looked at my career knowing that I had hit the limit of where I can go with baseball. And I said, I can't go any further than this. I'm done here. So I'm going to start something new. I'm going to just completely just rip the Band-Aid off and start something brand new. So I came here to Fargo and I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this. And I'm going to go see what happens. And I had no idea what I was doing. I still half the time don't know what I'm doing as a businessman. I'm great at taking pictures. I'm really good on the artistic. I'm not good with the other half. No clue what I was doing. So what I did is I took the baseball approach. And that was, when I was playing baseball, I would go in the cage for hours. I would hit for hours till my hands bled. I would hit until my legs I couldn't stand on my legs anymore. And I was so just worn out because I wanted to make sure that there was not a pitch that could be thrown at me that I couldn't hit, or there wasn't somebody that I couldn't beat in that game. And there were always people better, so there was always a reason to get better. So always people better than you, stronger than you, faster than you, more creative than you. It's just the way it is. I always wanted to counteract that and basically get to the point where I don't care if you're better than me, I'm still going to challenge you. So I took that approach with photography, and that is, instead of hitting in the cage, I went out and took pictures. I took lots of pictures. I stayed up late editing. I tried new techniques. I learned lighting. I learned everything I possibly could on my own. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't do anything. I just basically obsessed about it because I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to restart my career and do this new thing. And I'm not going to half-ass it. I had a funny clip. I forgot to make it in here, but it's a clip from Ron Swanson, and one of his quotes is, don't ever half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. And that was basically how I did things. My father and my mother, who gave me, we had musical instruments. I could have gone into music. I could have gone into art as a kid. They basically said, whatever you choose to do it all. Just give it all to it. Just give yourself to it and do it. If it doesn't work out, you can always do something different. So that's what I did. I went from giving everything I had to baseball. That was going to be my life. I was going to retire at an old age and make millions of dollars, to where I said, all right, well, now I'm going to give it all to this. A lot of the guys I played ball with, when they retired, they go into coaching, or they go play beer league softball. I still have not played a beer league softball game, and I won't, because I know the minute I get back in, I'm going to want to do it all, and I can't, because there's no career there for me. So it's done. It's gone. I'm no longer a baseball player. For years, I said, I'm going to try to be a photographer. It took me years to even call myself a photographer, because I still, even when I was doing this and shooting for publications, I consider myself a photo enthusiast. Somebody who was a hobbyist, who was just trying to do it as a side job. Even though I was trying to do it full time, I didn't consider myself a pro. And it was a couple years to where I finally came to terms with, like, okay, I'm making a living and paying my bills using a camera. I'm now a professional photographer. But there was a lot of steps in between to kind of get to that. So yeah, that's kind of how I went from what I did for most of my life, for 2/3 of my life, and moved here and started this whole new thing now, and have put every single ounce of passion into it, and I'm learning every single day. The biggest thing, when people ask me all the time is, you don't know everything. And the minute you're okay with understanding and coming to terms with the fact that you're going to fail, it's fine, and that you don't know everything, you're good. As soon as you can come to terms with the fact that you don't know, but you still want to learn, you're golden. Keep doing that. Keep pushing forward with that. There was an old coach that I had with baseball. A lot of my old wisdoms and things come from back in my baseball days. There was a coach I had. He was in his 80s, and he was still in the game, played for many years back in the days. He was a roving instructor who would come into town. This old guy, smoked 3 packs a day. But he came in and he said, we had a guy who was kind of chirping about how he kind of knew, oh yeah, I knew that. And he's like, son, you don't know yet. He says, the minute you stop learning is the minute they put that nail in your coffin. And he said, and I'm hoping on my deathbed, as I'm leaving this world, I learned something new on my way out. And that resonated with me, because I may know a lot of stuff. I don't know everything. I'm learning something new every day. Yesterday I was editing, I wish I had put it up here, but you'll see it. It's the new Bison Illustrated cover. Yesterday I was working on this edit and doing this composite, and I learned a new technique for compositing and blending something that I didn't even know I could do. And I was like, I learned something new today. So for me, that's how I did it. I understood that I was going to fail. I didn't know everything, but I'm going to learn everything I can possibly learn about it. So what keeps me going? Well, creating images, creating moments, capturing moments. These are just a couple of shots from my Instagram. I was going to put a whole bunch of stuff, but like I said, people have seen my work around town. If you want to know, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm always, posting things and sharing stuff. This is just some of the recent work from the last month. What's next? Well, keep taking pictures. I've got some new avenues that I'm trying to get into. I've been doing a lot more video work, which is something that I'm also learning as I go. It's something that, as a photographer for 6 years, only recently have clients ask for video, and I've basically done the same approach with video, to where I am now just burying myself in learning techniques and learning how it's done the right way. I'm not one of those photographers, videographers that goes out, does something, throws a filter on it, and goes. You see those all over Instagram. You see people who shoot pictures, they throw a filter, boom, it's done. I'm not one of those guys. Everything that I shoot, everything I do has my hands on. I do my own stuff. I make sure it looks exactly the way I want it to go before it gets sent out. And that's what I'm trying to do with everything that I do, especially in video. And I'm not going to release and do bigger projects and do things until I'm confident that I have learned enough to do it the right way. So that's it. I need a break. I need a little rest. I'm overworked, so what's next? Maybe take a nap, maybe relax a little bit. Got lots of projects I'm still working on. Kind of want to go somewhere warm, ride my Harley. So that's pretty much what I got. That's it. I know it rambled a bit. If you want to see what I'm doing kind of every day, follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get more. See, there's something else I'm learning. As an old guy, I'm not good with social media. Like, I'm really not. Like, the younger generation, like, they post stuff, it gets shared, it gets this, they got thousands of followers. I work all the time hard at just trying really hard to, like, stay on top of it, and I'm brutal at it. I'm horrible. It's like, oh, you need to post something every day, you need to do this. I can't do it. I need to hire a kid to just do it for me. But, but then there's that. So one of the things that I do all the time is I do these Instagram videos where I'm driving in my truck and I'm just talking to my camera. You guys may have seen me pop up on the Fargo feed, and I just kind of randomly do that. So we're going to do one of those right now. So, yo, what it do? What it don't do? If you watch my stories, you'd know that, why I said that. So, what it do, what it don't do? Guess where I'm at? Yeah, that's Creative Mornings Fargo. Look at this. Just finished giving a talk. I'm going to hopefully answer some questions here. Hopefully they'll go easy on me. So there we go.